first table.
Okay, so I'm going to publish the pairings, and if you can write round 1 is up. And the official announcements, and tell me what table we're going to.
So we are going to table 3.
Table 3.
We have okay, so it's Kung Fu Hendrix in feature match 1A.
Okay.
Against Pamela Mack in feature 1B.
And it looks like actually our players are connecting.
Woohoo.
There we go.
Yeah,
We're in
this is
the
awesome.
match.
We are in the match. So, to Scrubbly, right now we're in the sideboard guide so that our viewers can see both hands, and then I usually switch to whoever's on the play for each round.
There we go. So looks like Kamala Mack is going to be on the play, so we'll take a look at theirs. Okay. I mean, that's a heck of an opener. Cards like Disdainful Stroke in this matchup are pretty medium. I mean, being able to hold up that protection when you swing with the Goldspan Dragon is also pretty nice, so I think this is an easy keep. And being able to pick off like a Meat Hook Massacre if you don't have those protection spells in your March of Swirling Mist, or what else? Yeah, something like a Fading Hope, you're going to be okay to just hold up that Disdainful Stroke and make sure nothing connects. Mana's looking alright right now. I think it's probably going to be a Droid Destruction down for the third land. Just being able to get to that Goldspan Dragon sooner than later.
Can you help this guy with his...
Yeah, I don't know who he is though. It's okay, I got it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Well, you're not going to counter that Shambling Guest? Maybe... Oh. Alright, this is already fun. Yeah, I think not countering the guess is the move there. But I think holding up Droid Disruption for a turn 3 play is great. I mean, these tournaments are open deck lists, so if the opponent goes white mana, Wedding Invitation, you're just going to hit that with the counter. You can safely deploy Hanada. Sure, it might get eaten by Rite of Oblivion, but finding that 5th land is exactly where you want to be. I think at this point...
He's totally going to clear out with this.
Oh yeah, it's so nice. I think what you want to do here is just keep that Hanada in hand. You don't really want to lose it to a Rite of Oblivion or anything this early in the game. And with a deck like Orzhov, Rite of Oblivion sacking a Shambling Gas is just like, it's just value. So you see how this goes. I think opponent was playing around the Droid Disruption, so see if they have a 4th land.
It was marked as a no-show.
Nice. Okay.
There's the 4th land.
So then wait 50 minutes and drop him.
No, that's why he's not... Didn't get a pairing.
So this top deck was pretty interesting.
He was marked as a no-show.
I think that's the move. So having that 5th mana,
Then he was dropped.
drawing that March of Swirling Mist, they can just pretty much phase everything out here. That's 4 targets, so you can just cast it for 1 mana. And you're going to be able to protect your Hanado as well. Yeah, of course. So we've got Wandering Emperor coming down. It's probably just going to make a Samurai, I imagine. There we go. So Wandering Emperor is just a value card. Let's see. I don't think we're going to March a Swirling Mist here, but it could be before attackers. Let's see, what could our Orzhov control player have here? I mean, a Meat Hook Master is not going to do anything. Rite of Oblivion's going to cost 3. And then March of Swirling Mist is just going to protect everything. So this Hanada is very well protected. And then Goldspan can come down next turn. You can also just generate treasures with targeting with March of Swirling Mist. You have protection with Droid Disruption, Disdainful Stroke. Looking like a pretty good spot right now for the Jeskai control player.
All he needs is the Magnus.
Oh, Sign me up for a Magma Opus.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Alright, so Professor of Symbology comes down and learns. Let's see. Enviroscience. So we're just trying to find our lands here. There's no board wipes in this list outside of the Meat Hook Massacre, so I think that Droid Disruption is great. Stop your opponent from finding their lands, being able to curve out. We'll see. So make that Samurai first striker. It's not going to do much. I think the move is just going to swing at Wandering Emperor with Hinata.
I think you have to, though, right?
Absolutely. Gold. So what's going to happen here is Goldspan Dragon comes down and swings, generates a treasure, and now you've got that 2 blue mana for your March of Swirling Mist. So you
or Disdainful Stroke as well.
Yeah, exactly. If another Wandering Emperor comes down,
yeah,
it's the way that this is playing out right now. Like it might look like the game's at parity. This Jeskai list is so far ahead of the Orzhov player right now. Like I honestly don't think it's winnable.
So even if he keeps attacking, like he's running 5, 6, 7 a turn, so he does have a turn 2 clock, whereas his opponent, like the Jeskai deck, I mean, he'll hit 12 on the next turn, but then he's facing lethal.
So they aren't, only because of this March of Swirling Mist. So consider that treasure 2 blue mana.
Mm-hmm.
March of Swirling Mist targeting literally all of their creatures, phases them out. So they can phase them out now, and then they'll come back for next turn, and I mean, they're not going to hit lethal. This Disdainful Stroke is just great protection. I would honestly just let opponents swing here, and then march their following turn if they deploy another threat or something.
Right.
And that way you can also protect your creatures in case like a Meat Hook Massacre comes down and they're trying to gain some life, and just like drain to close the game out. I think this is a great play from the Jeskai player. Just be patient. Plus, this Shadow Skull Smashing is also going to be cost reduced because of all of the targets. So Goldspan Dragon comes down, swing for 12, and generate more mana.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I'd be surprised not to see a swing all. Yeah.
Does Shatter Skull Smashing, can you not target your opponent? I can't remember.
You can't target your opponent, no. I mean, that would be super spicy. If that was legal last standard, I would have been Ironcrag feeding and Shatter Skull Smashing my opponent's face all the time. All right, so at this point, what you could do, if you really wanted to, is March of Swirling Mist the entire board for the low cost of 1 and a blue. Actually, no, it'd just be a blue mana because you have so many targets. You generate 2 more treasures with your Goldspan Dragons, and that's about it. Yeah, so we're just clearing the board here. Nothing's bounced, and I don't think there's any counterplay to this for opponents, so yeah, you can just phase everything out. I would phase the Hinata out just to be safe. There's no instant speed removal. I mean, you can do the Goldspan Dragon. It's not really going to make a difference. Make a treasure, sure. Just looking at the list, though, the opponent doesn't have any instant speed interaction.
Dispute. Not dispute. Deadly Dispute just to draw
some cards.
Yeah. I was toying around with this Jeskai deck, and I did not play the blue card, the March. And I think that's just... it was such a mistake on my part.
I think it's the most powerful card in the list. Just in a vacuum. When you have like the full setup, when you can turn 5 Hinata with 1 blue mana up, like no matter what, your card's protected, and you can probably just phase your opponent's board out, and then you just kind of turn the corner. Like the way that this plays out and the way that it played out right now is it's essentially a turn 5 combo deck, where once you deploy your threat on turn 5 and you have that 1 blue mana up, you're protecting it. And from there, if you have a Magma Opus or even like a Prismari command where you're targeting another player for the 2 damage or yourself, where you have the cost reduction anyway, it's only going to cost you 2 mana, and it's like generating continuous value. Yeah, I'm just looking at Kamalamak's list right now. the cost reduction is really seen through the March of Swirling Mist, Magma Opus, and Prismari commands,
Right.
but that's pretty much all you need. You even have one Valorous Stance in the list, which is just like a nice little way of protecting.
I like
So sure,
that card is phenomenal.
I think Valorous Stance is one of the better cards printed from the previous set. It's just super versatile. You can main deck it. A deck like Mono White, having a couple Valorous Stances, all of a sudden has an answer to Hullbreaker Horror at instant speed.
Oh my god.
It really didn't have before, and like if those games go long and your opponent's just like, they only have one in the list, they probably don't have it. I don't know, you just play around it, right?
Right.
So we got Jeskai swinging in for game. There we go.
Game number 1 is taken by Jeskai. Well, I don't know if it's Dragons or Control. They kind of listed as weird names. But
I would say Jeskai combo.
yeah, that card, I used to play with it when it was in Standard, and it was one of my favorite cards. Like, I used it for... It was always in my main board. It was always good. It reminds me of Jamoka's command, just not as powerful. But like those were some of my 2 favorite instant speed 2 mana interactions to protect my creatures or to remove something that was in front of me. Like it was, or for a combat trick as I was attacking into a player. Like it was so good, so powerful.
That's the thing with modal cards is, sure, if you look at it on face, like 2 mana to protect one creature, 2 mana to kill something with 4 toughness, like. Sure, it's not that great as a card when you're just reading it, but situationally it has so many applications, and just 1 or 2 of in a list, like, you just really can't go wrong. Cards that do multiple things are just way too easy to evaluate firsthand as looking just not that great, but man, once they play out, oof.
As we're looking at the sideboard guards here, based on the creature size, I'm surprised that Jeskai is not bringing in the egg. I think that is a great 2 mana creature that just blocks early interaction, helps you get to your mid to late game, which is exactly what Jeskai wants. As for the Orzhov deck, they are clearly just taking out all the bad cards, like Meathook Massacre. They don't need that many in deck in their 60 anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Meathook Massacre kind of falls flat. If I were the Orzhov player, I'd be bringing in probably my Duresses. Your Go Blanks for sure. Power Word Kill's tricky. It doesn't hit Goldspan Dragon. I would bring Farewell in personally, just because it's a way to wipe the board when you're behind.
I think this is a keep for both players.
Yeah, so I'm still on Kabalamac's stream right now, and like that's a 2.5 lander. That's good enough for me.
Absolutely. We're seeing 3 lands on the other side and great early interaction by a removal spell and a duress. So,
all right, yeah, I'm hopping over to Henrik's as well. I think that's where you want to be. Sure, you don't have your early creatures, but you have a lot of time. Vanishing Verse. I mean, we know what Kamelamac has in their hand, and that Vanishing Verse can be very good. But you know what? Now Henrik knows what's in Kamelamac's hand too.
Yeah.
And that Expressive Iteration is a great take. We might run into a situation where Lolth gets countered by a Disdainful Stroke, and I think that's fine. I'm surprised to see the 2 strokes in hand for Kamelamac here, especially when you have like a lot of those cheaper threats like Wedding Announcement. I think you just want, like, the Rip Apart was a great break, but I think the extra Disdainful Stroke, I don't know. I would have brought in the Test of Talents, and I'm not sure if Kamelamac did, as just ways to get rid of those deadly disputes. Test of Talents, like, opponent sacks a creature or artifact for that deadly dispute cost, and then you Test of Talents it, get rid of every single copy. Like, that's a very, very big feels bad for opponent. So game's playing out very slow right now. I think this is going to be much more of a control-y feeling kind of match. We'll see if Henrik finds something. That Edgar's nice, but Disdainful Stroke does hit Edgar. And we know that you just don't want to run that Edgar right into those strokes. And this isn't a Blood on the Snow deck or anything, so we can't just try to jam it, get it countered, and then bring it back later. So let's see. So I'm just gonna quickly take a look. Yeah, that would have been my move there. So this is tricky now for the Orzhov player. We don't really have much going on in terms of action and in terms of ways to commit cards to the board. I don't think you want to be jamming this Edgar and trying to make your opponent just counter it, get value, play something like Expressive Iteration next turn. So this is kind of tricky. Iteration comes down. If opponent doesn't find blue mana, gates are open. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm excited to see just a little bit of something. Yeah, so there's the Test of Talents. One of my favorite cards. Whenever I splash blue in anything, I always try to find a way to fit 1 or 2 Test of Talents in. It's just, it can be very, very impactful.
There's lots happening in the tournament chat, Teresa.
I'm just trying to figure out this guy still.
Okay. And I will keep helping these guys. Sorry,
okay, perfect. So, oh, that's all right.
The first round is always the roughest for our viewers, so well, for us anyway, and trying to short everyone out. So I apologize that just Scrubbly sort of at the moment.
Hey, that's okay. I mean, to talk this one out. So the Orzhov player right now, it's looking pretty medium and a low medium at that. The 2 Vanishing Verses are great. We see that there's 1 Goldspan Dragon in hand. The problem is we have no safe lanes to cast any spells. If we can start deploying small threats, like a Shambling Ghast off the top, or Professor of Symbology, or even like a Dockside Chef, you can at least get the engine rolling. Speak of the devil. I don't think there's a world where this card, I don't even think it can get countered. So that's free. At this point, I would honestly take the Mascot Exhibition and then try to jam that and get it countered. Because you're at a point in the game right now where your opponent has these big spells in their hand and ways to stop you from doing your stuff. So you really have to just start depleting the resources. It's not a turn 7 play because then obviously you're tapped out. Opponent's just got a free lane to jam a Goldspan Dragon and just kind of blow this game open. But there's the Hinata. Vanishing Verse isn't going to hit that. What will is a PWK, but I don't see one in hand right now. Which Deadly Dispute could kill this Professor, could potentially find a power word kill. But I'm going to take a look at Kamelamak and see if there's that march. And there isn't, but oh, this hand is, ooh, wow. And let's see if we see what I was talking about earlier. And I think we are. This is such a feels bad. So Test of Talents, finding every single Deadly Dispute in deck. And also just, you're paying 2 mana to sack a creature. One of your best cards in your entire list is gone. Opponent, I want to see how Hinata works, because it... So if you're targeting spells on the stack, and you can with Disdainful Stroke, that's insane. That's so crazy. Goldspan Dragon comes down now. Unfortunately for opponent, we've got that negate in hand for Kamelamak, so that Goldspan's getting protected.
Absolutely.
And that's just for 1 blue mana. Ooh, so they let it resolve.
I wonder why.
I guess. You know what? They might be afraid. I mean, opponent knows that there's the Edgar Vanishing Verse in hand, and this verse isn't hitting anything. Edgar can't come down, because the Disdainful Stroke's just going to hit it. There's the 2 mana for it anyway. Even if Hinata wasn't on the board, Edgar wouldn't resolve. So let's see if there's another Goldspan Dragon. I mean, Iteration's going to find a Goldspan.
Prismari Command is good. It can filter your cards.
Yeah, I mean, that's also one of my favorite cards. I don't know if I'm a blue-red player, I definitely didn't jive with the Is It lists, like the Is It Epiphany lists and stuff. I was definitely more of a big mana treasure kind of guy. But Prismari Command, well, I play Dragonstorm Historic, so Prismari Command is my bread and butter. So let's see, it's just looking like lands for our Orzhov player, unfortunately. I think game one was looking a little bit better. If Kamelamak didn't find that march game one at that point in the game, I think it would have been a very different story.
Is our event number the one that's... What's our event number?
And there's that Prismari Command. Filtering for some finishers.
Never mind.
I can get it for you. It's
Okay, I can just send him the link, he said.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's just the link. Are you talking to Steve?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here we go. That Prismari Command was very good. Just finding a Hermit. Hinata can swing in nice and easy, and we know exactly what's going on. At this point, you can verse the Hermit, sack the Hermit, and then just bring it back. Sure, opponent can pay 3 to let it resolve, but that Hermit's already sacked, so it doesn't really matter. Comes out of the yard, and I think that's gonna be it for this first match, unless like what Henrik doesn't know is that there's this negate, and well, there's this stroke sitting in hand too.
You know,
So
I'm kind of biased. I really enjoyed the Jeskai deck. I like the way it plays out. I like the creatures. I like the card choices. So, like, for me, getting this in the first round to do commentary on it is very exciting. I'm also very excited to see that it's doing well, because I love grabbing people's lists and trying them out and playing them out online and stuff like that. And it's just so much fun after the tournament, you know.
yeah, of course.
Congratulations to the Jeskai side. That was a great round one.